"Do you want a sandwich? They're really good," Nicola Walker kindly offers, indicating the nearby mini-banquet of pungent egg butties provided by ITV at their plush new headquarters in London. It's a typically thoughtful offer from this most personable and thoroughly likeable of actors. SHE's here to promote her return in the third series of acclaimed crime drama Unforgotten, in which she plays DCI Cassie Stewart, who investigates historic cold case murders alongside partner Dyson Khan Sanjeev Bhaskar. Regularly attracting 6 million viewers, it's been yet another smash hit on a very long list of incredibly successful primetime roles for Nicola, including Spooks, Babylon, Last Tango in Halifax and The Split, to name but a few. It's a far cry from the young lady who made her Blink and You'll Miss It screen debut in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, as one half of the hilarious frightful folk duo who tunelessly croon Barry Manilow's Can't Smile Without You. Born in the capital's East End to working-class parents, SHE's humble and grounded, but underestimate Nicola at your peril. Over the last decade SHE's quietly become one of Britain's most in-demand thespians. Not that she'd boast about it herself, mind. Nicola is self-deprecating to the last. "I'm so boring," she laughs, while complaining about the dilapidated state of the fence in her back garden. Nicola, who has an 11-year-old son, Harry, with her husband, fellow actor Barnaby Kay, is anything but boring, as she reveals all about date-night sing-alongs, and giving her husband sleepless nights. "Is it true you only became an actress to meet boys? My family moved out of London's East End to a tiny village. The school I went to was supposed to be mixed gender, but there were hardly any boys born that year. So, yes, joining a youth theatre was a fun way to meet the opposite. I come from a family of scrap metal dealers, so becoming an actor seemed like a ridiculous thing to do, but I'd found the thing that gave me a kick and I quickly became obsessed with it." In the Split image, BBC, "Have you ever exploited your fame for personal gain? I wish, but no one ever seems to know who I am. I'm still patiently waiting to get a better table in a restaurant or a flight upgrade, but I've had no luck. What do I need to do with my career to get a free kickback? It's a mystery to me. What's been your most extravagant purchase? Before I had my son, I became obsessed by this painting I'd seen in an art gallery. It was a lot of money, but I felt such a rush of adrenaline when I wrote the check to buy it. I thought I was going to gaze lovingly at it forever, but after just 2 weeks I realized I didn't really like it anymore. Now I keep it on the wall to remind me I know nothing about art. Any strange fan experiences? People very rarely know my real name, but recognize me as characters from my shows, such as Last Tango in Halifax. One time I was in New York and a very confused lady said, I'm from a small village in Argentina and here you are, Jillian. Did you get married to Robbie, or not? She couldn't quite believe she'd traveled all the way to America and met a Yorkshire sheep farmer from a British TV show she'd been watching. In Last Tango in Halifax image, BBC, what's your most annoying habit in bed before we go to sleep? I'll offload everything I'm worried about to my husband. It can be trivial stuff like the front door sticking, to large philosophical anxieties and fears about death. Then he'll literally say, anyway, night-night, and he'll nod off straight away while he lies wide awake fretting about my problems. The way I see it is, he's an insomniac and doesn't sleep much anyway. What do you most fear? Being unemployed. I've had some big, successful roles recently, but I'm aware that a good run can end instantly. You can be riding the crest of a wave, but it will break eventually. In my family we share a very strong work ethic. That's ingrained in me and it's how I stay sane. Ever had a near-death experience? A few years ago I was caught in a riptide swimming off the coast of Cornwall. I was being carried further away from the beach and was desperately trying to remember how to get out of it. It shocked me how quickly the situation went from I'm fine, don't be dramatic to being in real trouble. Could you have been a copper like your character, DCI Cassie Stewart in Unforgotten? No, as an actor you need to be hugely empathetic and I'm far too emotional. I'd find the rising body count very upsetting. As a detective you can't get too emotionally involved, or you'll take your eye off the case. Have you ever had a run-in with the police yourself? One time I was withdrawing money and I could feel someone very close behind me. I was convinced I was about to get mugged, but when I turned round it was a copper in riot gear, who said, "You're in Babylon, we love that show." I told him it was definitely the safest he'll ever feel standing at a cash point. How do you spend family time? It's a nightmare, because both Barney and my son Harry are into outdoorsy, adventure things. They made me go on a winter sports holiday. Who learns to ski at the age of 47? I spent 3 days falling down a mountain, crying, convinced I was going to break my neck, and shouting, "When are we going home? I hate this more than anything I've ever done." Barney is also into wild swimming, but it's never anywhere exotic like the Indian Ocean. It's always me in a wetsuit in the freezing Atlantic. What's the most valuable lesson you've learnt about parenting? To never shout at your son outside Mark's Sparks, because someone will go on Twitter and say they've just seen that actress off Last Tango screaming at her poor child. I'm not on Twitter, but I felt like joining so I could reply. My son was behaving appallingly and demanding I bought him sweets. I take parenting one day at a time and only know about bringing up my own child. I'm winging it, really, and any parent who says they're not is probably lying. Nicola as DCI, Cassie Stewart and Sanjeev Bhaskar as Sunny in Unforgotten. Image. ITV. Would you like Harry to be an actor too? I do, actually, even though a lot of actors don't want their kids to follow them into an industry with such a high unemployment rate. You've got to be very thick-skinned and put up with a lot of rejection. However, Harry has absolutely no interest in what his parents do for a living. What are date nights like with Barney? We like to get and have sing songs. Barney plays the piano quite badly and I'm an even worse singer. I mostly sing Tom Waits tunes, because he has a gravely voice that's not too hard for me to pull off. We wait until our son has gone to sleep, because we'd never put him through the humiliation of performing for him. Do you give each other showbiz advice? I remember starting out in this business and seeing actors dating other actors. That was something I absolutely was never going to do. Then I met Barney. Both his parents were in the industry too, but he's not an actor, if that makes sense. He's grown up with acting and sees the profession very clearly. I came at it in a naive, ignorant way, barreling into things and not really knowing that wasn't the way it should be done. Somehow, we met in the middle. Describe yourself in 3 words. I'd say, I'm honest, emotional and generally annoying. Nicola on Unforgotten. I'm a massive fan of amazing crime documentaries, like 24 Hours in Police Custody, and I think Unforgotten has the same sort of truth. You believe characters like DCI Stewart and Di can't really do their jobs. Cold cases are fascinating because the murderer has killed someone in the past, went unpunished and gone on to live a constructed lie. They have families, careers, colleagues and friends, but none of them know that this person has been hiding an unforgivable crime for decades. Unforgotten. ITV, Sundays, 9 p.m.